all heard about the not in my backyard syndrome to describe popular opposition to unwanted projects. The people of Granville County have gone a step further. They've bought the backyard.
Hundreds of Granville County people who turned out today to try to keep state surveyors off the proposed incinerator site.
The company hired to keep North Carolina in the hazardous waste disposal game has decided to take its ball and go home.
So good afternoon to everyone. Okay, now you hear me. Very good. So I'm here with Gooch, Chairman of the Granville County Board of Commissioners, and it is my distinct pleasure to welcome each of you to this historic occasion, the grand opening of Granville Athletic Park at the Jonesland Environmental Preserve. We consider each of you very special, and you are our distinguished guests. We are delighted and thrilled that you have chosen to join us and participate in this celebration. This new athletic park, these 48 acres of land represent many hours of applied technical skills, knowledge, collaborative effort on many individuals. This park is the reality of a vision of our commitment to continue strive to improve the quality of life of the 50,000 plus citizens that call Granville County home. Many of you present here today have been a part of the dream and vision. We know that this park will not only benefit present citizens, but unborn children and young parents and who choose to rear their family in Granville County will be major benefactors. So again, thank you for coming and do plan to make maximum use of this facility. So early in the preliminary design and planning stage of this project, the other board members named Commissioner Lumpkins and myself as facilitators with the staff to oversee the development and completion of the project. But you need to know that there has been total board support for this project since day one. And with that said, we will now have a few remarks from each of the commissioners. Two commissioners could not be with us this afternoon because of prior commitments, Commissioner Ron Allengood and Commissioner Annette Miles. We'll go down the list. We'll start with Commissioner Avery. Commissioner Avery.
I too would like to thank each one of you here today. This has been a day we've been looking for a long time. And I just want to welcome each one of you here. There's been a lot of hard work done here in this place. And a lot of you know where it was beginning from when back years ago what they were planning to put here. And we some of the folks got that turned around and they let the county have it, and we've made good use out of it. And thank all of you again for coming.
It is my pleasure to greet all of you today. I'm so happy that I can stand here at this place and say that we're excited about what will take place, and thank everyone for all of their efforts to make this possible. Since I've been on the Board of Commissioners, there have been times when I would just hope that people in certain audiences would not bring up the subject of available recreational opportunities because I knew we were not where we needed to be. Well, today, I look forward to that discussion. In fact, I welcome it, and I hope someone will bring up the recreational opportunities. And I know it didn't just happen. I know it happened as a result of a lot of hard work. So I'm just so grateful to you for all you did, and I'm thankful that you could come today to be a part of this celebration. And I look forward to seeing you on the walking trail sometimes. Enjoy yourself.
I'd like to welcome you to beautiful downtown Belltown. While all of us represent all of Granville County, I'm pleased to be elected out of District 3, which this sits in District 3. And I want to thank any of the neighbors that are here today for your support in this operation, your support in letting us be a part of your community. And you know, it's just been really nice from the very beginning that the people in the community came out and had some concerns, wanted to know what it was about, but felt good about it, and have been very, very supportive of the efforts of our board and other people that have come to make this a reality. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. Most of the time when you get a group of people together this size, we have opinions about various different things. But I don't think anybody that's here this afternoon will disagree that thank God for shade, thank God for the tents, and thank God for that picnic shelter over there, because we thought we would, when we planned this, that we would have a nice springtime day, but it worked out, it's intruding into summertime. But nevertheless, we're here. It is a special occasion, and we certainly thank you for being here and taking your time out on a Friday night to be here to celebrate with us. Thank you for being here as we celebrate the grand opening of the Granville Athletic Park. And one thing I'd like to emphasize, that the Tar River does not divide this park at all in any shape, form, or fashion. It is simply for the people. It is simply for the people of Granville County, and we hope that we can pursue it, and it will remain that it will be your park for you to use when you want to use it, if it's all possible. We have attempted to have a family park here, a park that will fit your need as well as your family's need. Thanks to all who has helped to make this day a reality, especially the Jonesland Committee, and we'll hear about them and recognize them a little bit later. And John Pike, I'd have to share this with you. That stock that I bought a few years ago for $5, I think it has appreciated a whole lot as we look at the facility that's over here now. Thank you.
Thanks to my fellow commissioners. As I first stated, there were a lot of people involved in this, a lot of collaboration, and at this time we will have comments from three individuals representing three different entities that were involved. We will start with Attorney John Pike, representing the Jonesland Board, Mr. Mike Warren, who served as chairman of the Granville County Board of Commissioners during those turbulent days when the fight was going on about the use of this land and about a facility trying to locate in Granville County that we did not want in our beautiful county. And then Mrs. Elenore Fowler, who serves as chairman of the Granville County Athletic Advisory Committee. So with that said, Mr. Pike.
Thank you, folks. I consider it an honor to be here. I consider whatever efforts I've made in the past to be minuscule compared to the efforts of the Commissioner and Dudley Watts, and particularly Mr. Alligood, Dewitt Bowden, Barbara Jones, and the heroes of the future are the people like Jason Falls, who are going to have to take care of this place in an organic fashion. So those people are the heroes now and will be the heroes of the future. I don't know how many of y'all were here or were of age in 1989, but I'm going to relate a little bit of what happened. In 1989, thank you, sir. I'm not real good at making speeches. I'm pretty good at raising hell, but I'm not. And this thing is such a, it's in my heart so much that I get emotional about it. So bear with me if you would. But in 1989, in the early spring of 1989, the state of North Carolina and a company called Thermalchem announced a plan to build a hazardous waste incinerator pursuant to a Southeast Compact somewhere in North Carolina. They chose a dozen sites, or they said they chose a dozen sites, and then they sort of picked through those dozen sites and settled on one here, and I think one in Rowan County. We found out about it through the news media, and it just outraged us. You know, I'm frightened by incineration of hazardous waste, but I'm even more concerned about the degradation of the lifestyle that we had and have in Granville County. You know, we didn't deserve that. We never deserved it then, and we certainly wouldn't deserve it at any point in the future. But we were outraged, and my wife Priscilla and I thought about it and talked it over and decided we wanted to try to do something to mess up their budget. I happen to know the people that own this land, the Jones people, because I had represented them in getting this part divided off from the larger area for their family. I decided that we formulated a plan to buy the land and to try to sell it in a large number of undivided interests. We made the commitment. We went to Adams Tobacco Company as a matter of coincidence and asked them if they'd lend us $70,000. and we contacted the Joneses and asked if they'd be interested in selling the property. So all that in mind, I took off a couple of days and rented a couple of rooms up in New Jersey. I can't even remember the town, but it was a foreign land to me. But I went up there and I met with these wonderful people and told them what we proposed to do and what we hoped to do. I gave them my personal guarantee that we would protect their family cemetery and treat the land with dignity and respect. I bought the land, came back home, recorded the deed, and told a few friends what I planned to do on Monday morning. This was, I think, Memorial Day weekend. My wife reminded me it was Memorial Day weekend. I just spread the word. Well, that was on a Friday or a Saturday. It seemed like before I got the words out of my mouth, there were 200 people lined up outside my office, ready to give me $5 for a 170,000 undivided interest in this property. And it was just bedlam. It was absolute, marvelous, magnificent, joyous bedlam from that point for the next 3 or 4 weeks. We sold, we drew deeds constantly for 8 to 10 hours a day. My wife, my secretary, volunteers from all over the place sat in the thing and took people's money and drew deeds, and we recorded deeds. We didn't record the first one until we had several thousand names on it because we didn't want to give the state a heads up to where they could do something to stop us. We recorded the first deed and it just exploded. We had national news media attention. At least 5 different times the national media came down and did interviews and talked to people. We ended up with over 10,000 owners, a number of whom are probably here tonight. I suspect almost everybody in this crowd owns one of those appreciated interests. One interest, by the way, is just large enough to bury you on, so I hope you don't do that. I own a cemetery north of town. I wish you'd patronize. But we sold interests to people in all 50 of our United States, in at least 12 foreign countries. And the reality at that point, I think Thermal Chem and the state of North Carolina knew that the game was over in Granville County, or at least at this site in Granville County. And I don't want to get past my topic, but it became pretty obvious at that point that they didn't give a damn about 10 or 12 sites. The only one they wanted was in Granville County, because they took off down the road to Butner, which was ludicrous. But there again, I get emotional about it. They didn't go back to any of those other sites. They went to Butner. And thank God, and I think the real value of Jonesland, outside of what these wonderful people have done to present to you today, the real value was that it mobilized the entire community of Granville County to not only fight it here in Raleigh, but in Butner and anywhere else in the state of North Carolina. And that was the extraordinary value. They've got some exhibits over there of all that NAT and GROW and all the civic organizations did. People were prepared to go to jail if that was what was necessary. And I want to make this point to you, and I mean this sincerely, because Jonesland was the easy part. Jonesland required $70,000 and the help of a bunch of people to draw deeds. The hard part came after that. The hard part came with fighting the battles in the legislative buildings, going to the site review committee, Harvey Spur and people that were on the site review committee. I mean, those people worked 2, 3, 4 nights a week in meetings and then went home and did more. That's where the hard work was. The hard work that got us before the Council of State and kept them out of Butner. So Jonesland is magnificent. It's a great story. But the hard work is those people that are the real heroes. And I'm gratified, very gratified that this has happened. Jonesland, again, my intent was to keep it preserved. And this is as close to preserving it in its natural state as I think we could ever come, and allow it to be used by all of the citizens of Granville County. And that's extraordinarily gratifying. That's a dream come true for me. The other aspect of it, and I encourage this for y'all, is we ask that they do 3 things. We ask that they maintain and respect the cemetery of the Jones heirs, because that's a story in itself. We ask that they not clear cut the timber. Now, some of the timber's been cut, but you know, if it weren't for these trees, it would be at least 5 degrees hotter tonight. So we've asked them to preserve the natural woodland areas, and they've done a wonderful job of that. We also asked them to preserve it organically, to not use some of the chemicals and pesticides and herbicides that are used in normal agriculture. And those are the next heroes. The next hero is Jason McValls, who's going to have to pick all the damn weeds. And you know, my opinion is, and I'm going to end with 2 things. The first is that organic responsibility, environmental responsibility, is a great marketing tool. We can sell Granville County as an environmentally friendly county, and we need to use that. The last thing I want to mention is one of the great heroes in this whole event, and by the grace of God, he happened to be the chairman of the county commission. Your next speaker is Mike Warren, and I'd like to introduce him to you.
Let us learn a valuable lesson from this crisis. Because united we are strong, divided we are not. You can believe that. We must believe it. I would like to thank the many citizens from across North Carolina who have offered their resources and expertise. I would like to thank our Site Designation Review Committee. Most importantly, I would like to thank our commissioners and the citizens of Granville County for the stand in which you are taking. You are our most valuable resource.
1989, I was in a whole lot hotter spots than this one, I can tell you that right now. You can believe that. It's a pleasure to be here with you this evening. Jason said I could have as much time as I wanted, so I'm going to start when I was in the 5th grade. When I was in the 5th grade, my mother had kidney disease. I was living in Oxford, and I had moved to rural Pitt County on a farm with my grandmother, an aunt, and uncle, and enrolled in Stoke School, which is a rural community about 8 miles from Greenville. Things got kind of tight for Mom in the hospital, so my grandmother would make me shirts out of feed bags. Some of the older ones out there may remember those the cloth, but she'd make those shirts out of it. I never forget when I wore the first shirt to school. All the rural kids knew what that shirt was made out of. I had a fight at least 10 times that day, and went on home with that shirt, and I was fighting for my pride and Grandma's. Little did I know that about 40 years later, I was going to be honored again, just like my grandma honored me with that shirt. And the honor was I was selected to represent the people of Granville County and elected by the board to serve as chairman. Never did I realize that, again, I was going to have to fight for my honor and people who I love very much. Went into a Chinese restaurant about 2 days to celebrate the victory with my family after it was over with, and I remembered opening a fortune cookie, and the fortune cookie said, "You are about to embark on a most delightful journey." I haven't been able to eat Chinese food since then. We became one of the designated tracks. We were put on a fast track. I really believe that. First order of business for the commissioners to designate a site-based review committee. John has already mentioned this. John was serving as chairman of that committee. They were brilliant. They were brilliant minds, and they were together to the end. And you got to know these people like I knew them. They were eccentric, just like me. And this crowd held together to the very end and helped divide the state. Thermochem meeting. One of the many things I remember was that Thermochem wanted to meet with the commissioners. Hindsight's 20/20, but they wanted to meet with the commissioners individually. First meeting. You and I both know in war the best way to win is to divide and defeat. Why we ever did that, I have no idea. Because right away it creates a situation. I wonder what they said to him or what he said to them and that type of thing. I knew that day when I walked in there, I saw Italian suits, linen shirts, silk ties, real alligator shoes and belts. And right away, I didn't think these were the people I wanted to be around. And right then, told them, no, we don't want you. I mean, they were arrogant enough. Thermochem, we burn chemicals. Well, I didn't say they would have cleaned the air company. At least we call our dump a sanitary landfill. You know, come up with some other term. Next day, or the day after, I got a call from Governor Martin. He asked for my cooperation, and I agreed if I cooperated with him, he would cooperate with us. And that was pretty much, we talked for about 5 minutes, so very cordial conversation. Question I get asked often is why here? I have no idea why here. I think we were picked initially. Often when why here shows up, everybody in this room knows that somebody may have gained $1 from it being here, and that's greed. We know it could have been easy. We had, Pete, 6 or 7 new commissioners that really weren't that politically involved, that didn't really know a lot of people in Raleigh, and I look at it as easy. They said it was geographic, but there's a whole lot of places on the interstates in North Carolina that are small towns attached to it. Why here, why there, I don't know. Biggest problem? Probably communication. Most people didn't understand, it was really hard on the commissioners, is that when we were getting ready to take Thermochem or the Hazardous Waste Commission to court, we get ready to fight a battle, you don't let someone know, hey, by the way, in about a week we're going to attack you. So get ready. So we couldn't tell sometimes what was going on. We would have liked to have been able to tell. It scared me to death that we were going to become divided because of this, but as John said, everyone remained strong through this process. The second thing that hurt a whole lot, and it always does in anything, is gossip. And I really believe when I look back on it, hindsight's butter, that a lot of that gossip was planted. You plant gossip to divide and defeat. I still believe to this day a lot of the gossip that went around this county about what people saw, what people did was gossip. People say my personality changed. I want you to look at me now. The governor didn't like me. The state didn't like me. Thermochem didn't like me. The people in Granville County, I was a politician, they didn't trust me. Now everybody here knows that a good dog will bite you if he's cornered. And that's basically what I had become. And I had mule blinders on. I couldn't see anything but that hazardous waste incinerator there in front of me. And every day was like a nuclear winter. I can't tell you in over a year whether it rained or whether the sun did shine. I can't even tell you whether it snowed that year. And I'm a weather fanatic. I don't remember one thing really about that year. One thing I really, out of the meetings we had, I remember the meeting at Webb High School. I think it was the first meeting we had with Thermochem, Dr. Turner, Mr. Hennett, and the Hazardous Waste Management, the Hazardous Waste Commission representing the state. Our site-based review committee was there. I look back on it now. That night I got so mad I couldn't see straight because a young man went up on stage and threw some trash. A teenager. And somebody said, do you think that's going to divide us? Now look back on it now, and if that would divide us because of a hazardous waste incinerator, you didn't want to be in the fight anyway. And the next thing, if you listen to the conversation that night, they treat us like a bunch of fools, basically. Everyone knows that when you go to a restaurant and you're sitting here and the table next to you is non-smoking, it doesn't mean that smoke won't hurt you, does it? Or if you go to the swimming pool and they say you can pee on the left-hand side and swim on the right, everything will be all right. Well, folks, that was that logic. I should have taken the trash out of the young man's hand, saved the steps, and thrown it up on the stage myself. Key players, always a question. Site-based review committee, they were persistent to the end, along the way, all the way. John Pike, his genius is already known about. Michael Kroll and Bill Hopper. Michael and Bill are both very low profile people. Folks, they were going to run this thing on a fast track, and these guys hadn't slowed that thing down. It probably may be sitting here right now. Things had to happen very quickly, and I knew when we got to Butner, I figured we're going to beat them now. Harold Blizzard, he had pretty much run county government while we had things focused somewhere else. People who donated, organizers and participants in marches, rallies, protests in jail. And people said, you mean you support people breaking the law? Folks, I'm a believer in a little revolution every now and then. It's good. Martin Luther King, the civil rights situation? Where would blacks be today if they hadn't had a revolution? We'd still be in Vietnam without a revolution. We'd still be controlled by the British without a revolution. Sometimes politicians, not all of them, when they hear you're honorable, you're esteemed, you're noble long enough, they start believing it. And then you have to do something to make them rethink the situation. I don't think there would be revolutions if you didn't have to do something to make them rethink a situation. Humor. Was there any humor during this time? One little thing I'll tell you, John, they won't think you're crazy, baby. So, when this thing started, one thing John and I realized right off the bat is my telephone at home started clicking. Little click, click, click. His telephone at home had little clicking sounds. My telephone at work had little clicking sounds. I'm not saying they tapped. His telephone at work had little clicking sounds. And we kind of pretended like our homes were bugged. So for entertainment, if John was down at my house, we'd holler obscenities up at the kitchen fan, pretending like Thermochem and the Hazardous Waste Management Commission were listening. You got to imagine the tension involved in something like this. And we had to break that tension, and that's kind of our way. Who made the difference? Everyone. Everyone made the difference. In the end, we divided. We divided the Hazardous Waste Management Commission. We divided our state government officials. I'd like to say thank you for everyone involved in creating this beautiful facility. When I pulled in here tonight, I felt like, I hadn't been here. This is the first time, guys, I felt like Dorothy on the yellow brick road. That's how beautiful it is. And as for you revolutionaries out there, you dance the dance. God bless each of you here tonight. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Warren. We appreciate those remarks. I can only imagine what it was like being chairman of the board then. I think it's bad now.
It was hell.
This is a pony ride compared to back then. Mrs. Fowler, come on up.
My journey has been easier than theirs. I started 6 years and 3 months ago with the Recreation Advisory Committee. This came out of a meeting that our county commissioners had in February of 1998. They decided then, that they wanted recreation in Granville County. The Recreation Advisory Committee was formed when each commissioner named as someone from that district to the Recreation Advisory Committee. The county manager worked with us constantly and has been a great help to all of us. The master plan was voted on and approved by the Board of Commissioners. They have worked with us every step of the way. The two commissioners that has worked with us lately, James Lumpkins and Mr. Gooch, have been great to work with. They have met with us, they have supported us, and we have really had a good time with this. In November the 12th, 1998, the board voted to approve the master plan for the recreation of Granville County. The Recreation Advisory Committee went to many locations to try to find a site for this facility. When this was decided on, we went to the Jonesland Committee, and they were most helpful in our search for a site. Once we chose the site, everything seemed to move pretty fast. In the regular meeting of January the 2nd, 2001, the County Board of Commissioners approved a notice to proceed with the design of the Jonesland Park. Today, May the 21st, 2004, we are standing at Jonesland, a 48-acre preserve, that I have to call it, at a cost of about $1.6 million. This complex has 2 ball fields that are lighted, 2.5 soccer fields, practice fields, and 1.5 miles of paved walking trail, concession stand, restrooms, a meeting room, shelter, and play area. For these 6 years, Dudley Watts has worked with us constantly. We also have had the help of Bobby Wilson and her staff with the county. Many thanks go to these people who have worked so much. Mike Phelps, who has kept our records, paid our bills, and told us how much money we could spend. And today, Jason Falls, as most of you have said today, will take over and run this preserve. Welcome to your Granville County Park.
Thank you very much, Mrs. Fowler. Now we will have Commissioner Tony Cozart come and recognize the stakeholders.
I would just like to say, first of all, that all of you here today are special guests. Therefore, you notice our program, we did not have to list to recognize any particular guest because we feel like everyone here today is very special in what they have done to make this celebration possible. Let me just say a word to our former chairman, Mike Warren, before I do what I'm here to do. I had a chance to watch you during those days. I must say I was so happy you were in the chair as opposed to me. But this county will always owe a great debt to Mike Warren. He really gave of himself in this effort. And I'm just proud to say that I was able to serve along with you during that time. I would like to have a few groups to stand, and I'd like to ask you to stand by group because we do owe you a great round of applause. And the first group is the Jonesland Committee. And when I call your name, please stand and remain standing, please. Dewart Bowden, Barbara Jones, Rexanne Newman. We heard from Attorney Pike, please stand also. Priscilla Pike, and Isabel Washington. Who knows how many hours you gave in helping to help secure this land so that we could go about the business of making such a park as this. So on behalf of our board, we just want to say to you a very special thank you for all that you did. Let's give them a round of applause, please. We're so grateful to you. Next, the Recreation Advisory Committee. Elenore Fowler, you hear from her, she's the chair. If you would stand. Marshall Baird, Timothy Brinkley, Roy Cash, Benny Overton, Hayden Shackelford, and James Stallings. We're grateful for your work because you worked very hard to develop a master plan so that we could get a vision of what we wanted to see here. Your efforts are also greatly appreciated, and you deserve a great round of applause today as well. The Tourism Development Committee, Todd Adcock, Mary Caudle, Jenny Kern, Dewart Edwards, Elenore Fowler, Leon Turner, and Derek Wilkerson. We're grateful to you following the legislation that was needed to be passed to help us with being able to get the law changed in terms of the occupancy tax. You helped us in working out a way to be able to utilize those funds to help make this park a reality. And to you, we thank you so much. I asked Commissioner Lumpkins if he saw Dr. Spur here today, and of course he lives out in the community where I live, and I just wanted to remember him. I don't think I see him, but
Right there, the Hanover.
hello to you. Good to see you. Thank you so much for being here. Just would not have been right not to see you here today. Thank you so much. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
So we're nearing the end of our program. At this time, we're going to call on Commissioner David Kern for our invocation and dedication. Now, following that, we will march down on the other side of the concession and do the unveiling of the plaque for those of you who would like to join us there. But if you're not interested in walking down there, then we'll begin the serving line. And I'm looking for Mr. Watts now. What's the procedure for the serving line, Dudley?
We'll go down both lines, so after the invocation, they
All right, did you all hear that? He said there'll be 2 serving lines. So at this time, we're going to turn it over to Commissioner Kern.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. We certainly have had a lot of thank yous tonight and a lot of appreciation. But I think everyone here knows that none of this would have been possible without the guidance and blessings of our Lord. And I think that is certainly someone and the supreme person that deserves the thanks for everything. If you would, please bow in a word of prayer. Dear Heavenly Father, we thank you so much for the blessings that you have bestowed upon each and every person that has had a hand in this new athletic park. We ask, dear God, your continued blessings upon this land, upon those that use it, and that, dear God, that we manage it and that those that use it do it in a way that would be pleasing in your sight. We thank you, dear God, for the wisdom that you imparted upon Dudley Watts, who has guided this entire project through the commissioners and all the committees. We thank you for the vision that you put in him and the ability that he had to get this done. We ask that you bless this food that we're about to receive for the nourishment of our bodies and our bodies for your continued service. For it is in your name we pray. Amen.
So I'm here with the good Chairman of the Granville County Board of Commissioners. I'd like to welcome you here to Granville Athletic Park at the Jonesland Environmental Preserve. We are delighted to see each of you here on this beautiful day to enjoy this grand opening of this new facility. This is a 48-acre tract of land. The preliminary plans were adopted by the Granville County Board of Granville County Commissioners in January of 2001. We had a groundbreaking here in July 2002 because we're back here today on May the 22nd, 2004 for the grand opening of this facility. We have 2.5 soccer fields, 2 lighted baseball fields, 1 practice field, because we have a 1 1/10 paved walking trail. We have a play area out here and a shelter concession stand with a little small conference room. This is designed as a family facility for all of the citizens of Granville County, and we do want to make sure that you make maximum use of this facility. This will be a very brief ceremony this morning. We have with us here this morning 3 of our other county commissioners, and you need to know also that this project had total support of the toll board from day one. And each one of these commissioners will just make a very few brief remarks. And we'll start with Commissioner Avery.
Thank you, Mr. Good. I want to take this time to welcome each one of you out here today, and we're very proud of this facility, and I hope you'll come out and enjoy it. This has been one day we've been looking for a long time. So welcome everybody out today and have a good time.
I would like to say good morning and welcome to everyone. I share the excitement of my colleagues on the board, and I'm just so thankful for all the efforts that have gone into this. I'm thankful to all of you for your support as we have proceeded to make this a reality. And I just want to say one comment that was made to me yesterday, that there's a lady from Durham who has been over here walking already, and she said she comes over here because she feels safe. So Sheriff Smith, I'm just so happy to hear a comment like that, and we're grateful for the support of our sheriff, and I know that the ongoing support, ongoing success of this park, a lot of it will depend on how people feel when they come here. So our intention is to make sure that everyone who comes here will feel safe, and they will feel like this is a place they can bring their family and enjoy the activities here. So please take advantage of it. If this is any indication of how the community will support this, I know it's going to be used on a regular basis, and that will make all of us feel very good. So enjoy your day and continue to come out and enjoy yourself at this park. Thank you so much.
Good morning, everyone. My name is James Lumpkins, and it's certainly been a privilege for me to serve with the county commissioners, especially on this particular project as we call the Granville Athletic Park, the Jonesland Preserve. It's great to see each one of you here this morning, and as you look around, make sure you go all over the park. We hope but everyone will find something that they like or something that their children can be involved in. This has been a dream of, I think, the county for many, many years, and this year was the time, or the last 2 or 3 years was the time where we just simply said that we can do this, we can reach this goal, we can reach this milestone, and today it's evident that it's here. I was reading in the Henderson paper this morning that Charlie Richards had written an article about some of the functions that happened here yesterday, and he said that this is not the land of Oz, but we think it could be the Alice in Wonderland. So we hope that what we have here that you'll like. We would certainly welcome comments, pros and cons, as you are here today doing your various different things. And it's just great that you're here to participate in this. And I'd like to say in closing that our park superintendent is Larry Salisbury, and he has indicated to me lots of times as we have tried to put this together and to climax this particular day, that this is only a beginning. And yes, what you see today is what we do have at this particular time, but the Board of Commissioners is already planning for future expansions. We're negotiating with 20 acres that's adjoining this particular site. Plans need to be made, what we will put on those facilities. That has not happened yet. And also, if we have anyone or any persons or groups that would like to donate to any of the causes that we have out here, we do have an amphitheater planned and other things that we can do. If you'd like to be the owner of one of these baseball fields, I think it's a minimum fee of about $25,000, but nevertheless, we are still searching for sponsors to enhance the park, and we thank those that has worked on making this day possible through grants, through other areas. Thank you for being here this morning, and we hope that when you leave here today that you have found something that you liked, and you'll feel and leave here with a sense of pride and also a sense of ownership. I want to make sure that everyone understands that this is Granville Athletic Park. We encourage everybody to use it. Thank you.
Now, just before we have the ribbon cutting, I'm going to ask Mrs. Elenore Fowler to come forward. She's the chairman of Granville County Athletic Advisory Committee to say a few words about the games that are scheduled for today. Mrs. Fowler.
Thank you, Mr. Gooch. I want to thank the commissioners again for helping us with this park. It is a beautiful place. And to Jason and Larry for all the work they've done this morning. The soccer games will be on the fields up here, and there will be someone there to show you which field you'll be on. I will be down at the baseball fields and softball fields. We'll be playing there all day today. And I will be down there, and Sharon from the Oxford Recreation Department will be there to help you find your field at your time. We do have concessions here. We'd like for you to support the concessions today. We have moonwalk and pony rides for the kids right back here. Please visit all of these things today and use our walking trail today. It is a beautiful place to walk, and we're real proud of it. Welcome today.
Thank you, Mrs. Fowler. All right, this time we will have the formal ribbon cutting. Okay. Ready? I'll turn it in.